Hey, welcome. I'm Matt Holman with Commerce Catalyst, and I am joined by Joshua Raw, the founder of eSpark. Aside from being just a great guy and a good friend, he runs an amazing Amazon agency, and he is here with 3 tips, a beginner, intermediate, and advanced tip for Amazon that you have to hear. Josh, how's it going, man?
Good. Thanks for having me on today, Matt. It was a struggle to get
Absolutely.
it down to just 3 tips. I always have
Excited to
like
hear.
20 million things I want to share with people. So I've narrowed this
Absolutely.
down to my three
Absolutely.
best. But if you guys tune
Great.
back in, I'm sure I'll be back on to share more.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's see it, man. What you got?
Awesome. So I'm going to screen share here and I'm going to walk you through this is beginners, but it's also useful for everybody to know. I'm going to walk you through brand analytics briefly and show you the value that you can get from that. Everybody, we're pulled up here in the Seller Central. We're looking at the brand analytics report and the search query performance section. So brand analytics, this is this great tool where Amazon has started sharing a lot more data around how your brand is performing. And this particular report, the search query performance report, is a report that we use every day at our Amazon agency. We like to look at reports on a monthly basis to see how our brand is doing for certain search queries. This is key to tracking your performance over time because, as you know, we're always trying to get more eyeballs and more clicks and more conversions on our listings. So when we go out and we take action on our listings, like optimizing the listing or running ads, we always do it with our search terms in mind. Are we showing up more often for the customers that we want? And are we converting better for the customers that we want? So this is a tool that I think everybody should be aware of and be utilizing. I'm going to briefly walk you through it and how we kind of look at this report. So this
Cool.
report, we would download this and we would split it out into branded search terms. So for this particular client, Gaines Family Farmstead, they sell sweet potato dog treats. So we would pull out all the Gaines Family Farmstead branded search terms and treat those differently than the generic search terms. So our most popular search query in the generic side is sweet potato dog treats. We want to be consistently growing our brand share for this particular product over time. Brand share is simply how much, or under the impressions section, is how often people are seeing our product. So we own 2.2% of the impressions out there. We capture 1.5% of the clicks, and we capture 1.06% of the add to carts. And then obviously it goes all the way down to purchases. So this is a great screenshot of how our brand performs for this high value search term. And this gives us, this will give you a benchmark to set and to say, okay, how can I drive more impressions, clicks, card ads, etc., for this
Depending on
particular
which
highly
which stage
relevant
of the
generic
funnel you
search
want to
term?
get after. Yeah, like which stage of the funnel you want to get after. That makes a ton of sense. That's really cool.
Exactly, exactly. What you can do now, let's say that you're like, okay, I know I want to go after sweet potato dog treat, highly relevant. There's a big market for this, and we want to own this. What we can do is we'll start running particular ad-specific campaigns to increase our impression share, specific campaigns to increase our clicks and our add to carts. One thing that you can do too is you can also make non-ad related changes to your listing. So let's do a specific example. Here we have a 1.57% click share for sweet potato dog treats. Now you can improve your click share by A/B testing your main image. And this leads
Is
into sort of an intermediate suggestion that I would have, which is A/B testing. So Amazon offers this feature, and I'll jump to it and screen share in a second. But Amazon offers this feature that allows you to A/B test many, many components of a listing. So let's take a look at a listing real quick, such as this Prolux X8. This is a vacuum cleaner. We have the main image, multiple images. We have bullet points. We have titles, and we have A+ content, which you can see on here. Now, all of this is A/B testable, meaning that you can show 2 different versions over a period and see which one performs the best over that period, and then utilize that one going forward. So remember what I was talking about with clicks and our brand share of clicks? If we want to increase our brand share for sweet potato dog treats, yes, we can run ads, but we can also A/B test our main image. So let's say that somebody searches for sweet potato dog treats on Amazon. What's driving that click? Well, first off, it's your main image. Second off, it's your title, it's your reviews, and it's your pricing. Now, some of these things can't be A/B tested, like your reviews or your pricing, but you can A/B
correct.
test your images and your titles. So you guys see where I'm going with this if you're coming in and you're just not listening to this podcast and you say, hey, I want to increase my brand share for this. It's 1.57, last month in June. How can I get it to 5% in July? First thing I would do, go out and A/B test your main image. See if that drives more clicks. Then I would A/B test your title. See how that drives more clicks. And by utilizing that A/B testing, you drive more clicks, more cart ads. The whole rest of the funnel falls in from that.
No, that's a great idea.
Yeah, does that make sense, Matt?
It does. No, that makes a lot of sense. I like how you kind of framed that there. So beginning tip, intermediate tip, the A/B testing. Curious what the advanced tip is.
Well, yeah, and let me add a little bit more to the intermediate
Sure.
tip of the A/B testing. So let me get into this a little bit more detailed. So we talked about, hey, we can A/B test our main image. We can track the performance of that to see how our brand share for click-throughs increases. We can A/B test our title, but you can also A/B test your A+ content and your bullet points. You might say, okay, Josh, well, how do I A/B test and what does that look like? If you go over to your Seller Central menu and you go to Brands, Manage Experiments, you can find your A/B testing. A/B testing is something everybody should do, and Amazon has made it stupidly simple. So let's say I wanted to create that experiment. I can A/B test A+ content, bullet points, main image, description, and title. So let's say I want to test a main image. I might be able to, I would select a reference ASIN and say, okay, you know what, let's get rid of this image and let's try a different image and see if our clicks improve. Simply upload the image, schedule your experiment, and Amazon automatically runs your experiment until a significant amount of data has been collected. So you didn't have to say, hey, run this for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever. Amazon will just come back in a couple weeks and say, hey, we have enough data. We know which one is better. This one outperforms. And let me show you what that looks like. So you can come back and look at a title test that we ran. And you can see here, differences are marginal on this one. Not a huge difference, but we do have a slight improvement in this different title. So you can see just little tweaks like this, small improvements. Sometimes you'll have major improvement. And if let's take one more and see if we have one that has a major improvement here. So once you've launched your main image experiment, like we were discussing, you can see here that Amazon will kick off your experiment and start tracking results. So this is what it looks like when the experiment has just been kicked off. You can see that we're doing a main image test here. We have one with the bones and one with the bones and some of the product outside the bag. I had to bet, I think that version B will perform a little bit better, but we'll come back and we'll see. And then once you run your experiment, you'll get data that looks a little bit like this. And you can see here how many people saw the different images, the difference in sales, and Amazon's probability that a version is better. So this one's a pretty close one. We would probably still run with version B on this one because it is a slight improvement. Sometimes you'll see massive improvements, like 90% probability of this one outsells by 40, 50 units, as opposed to here, it's just 5 or 6 units. So you can sometimes see those big changes. Sometimes you just see small changes like this. But either way, running these consistently over time will improve your metrics, right? It's going to improve your click-through, it's going to improve your conversions, and it's going to improve your overall organic ranking as more people come to your listing, see what they want, buy it, and Amazon rewards you for that behavior.
Do you often see something where you might do a test that results in a higher click share or a higher click-through rate, but actually drives down your conversion rate? Do you see sometimes where the experiment maybe is great for the getting clicks, but not great for necessarily driving more sales?
Yes, that's a good question and something that you should be tracking. So Amazon will track your conversions and your units sold with an A/B test, but they don't track your click-throughs, right? So essentially what happened here was 24,000 people saw this and 23,000 people saw this. But we don't know at the higher end of the funnel how many people saw and decided not to click. So that's why I mentioned, hey, track your click-through rates and brand analytics and make sure that you're not losing.
So Amazon is driving towards the sale as the ultimate conversion event. They're not optimizing for clicks or impressions. They're just basically trying to see what one is going to be better at getting you more sales, in a sense.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. That's a good question too. Thanks for bringing that up.
Of course. I'm good for one good question in an interview.
Yeah, we all get lucky sometimes, right? Broken clocks right twice a day.
We all get lucky.
Yep. No, I feel that. So let's jump into my last tip here, and this one might not be advanced. We can find how we describe it, but here's my final tip, and something that I need to see a lot of people doing, and I think it's critical to do, and that is to run defensive ad campaigns. So for this particular client, this is a Prolux X8. This is a vacuum cleaner. We're really doing a great job capturing market share in the mid-tier market for vacuum cleaners. We go up against some of the big boys like Kenmore, Miele, and we perform really well. And part of the reason is that our ad strategy here is more advanced than the ad strategy of our competitors. And I'm going to show you one particular strategy that I love to run, and this is what we call branded defense campaigns. So on this particular listing, if you scroll down, you can see here that there's a very high-level ad that shows up right underneath the bullet points, right in the middle of the page. This is a very popular ad placement. Now, instead of letting our competitors sit here and siphon away market share and siphon away sales, we actually put different variations of our same product here. So if somebody comes in here, looks at this, reads about the Elite, sees the price point, reads the bullets, and is still not quite convinced that this is the right product for them, we show them our Light at a discounted price point. They might say, yeah, you know what, this one, this might be too much for me. 49 is a little high. I don't quite need the deluxe tools. And as I'm scrolling down, still thinking about what I need, oh, look, here's one for $259. It's the Light. This might be a better fit for me. And so we drive people to move from the Light or from the Elite to the Light. And then here you can see us doing the exact same thing. They get through and they're like, well, the Light's a little too small for me. Oh, wait, here's the X8 Pro. So essentially what we're doing is we're defending our listings with other Prolux options by saying, hey, if you get through this, the top of the page or the above the fold, and you're still not sold on our particular product, check out our other products. And so we put our ads right here. By doing so, we help cross-sell, right? Maybe that one wasn't right for them, but we drive them into a different one. And we help defend. So as you can see on all our listings, we're here. It's not Miele, it's not Kenmore, etc. So we are able to protect our brand, cross-sell our customer, and prevent our competitors from stealing our sale. These ads
and you're guiding research
really
a lot
well.
too, right? You're guiding research because that's how I shop. It's like I'll find something, I'll do all this reading, and then I'm like, okay, similar products. If it's not quite right, I'm clicking on those other things. So that makes a lot of sense. Is there a way to set up the campaign specifically for that space and targeting your ads, or what does a campaign like that look like? Because I'm not familiar with how Amazon's PPC, like how specific you can get at least.
Yes, so that's a great question. How do I do it? So when you go to your campaign, these are going to be called sponsored display ads. And when you're targeting, you're going to want to target, actually, let me just walk people through this. So yeah, let's say that you want to run that particular campaign that we're showing here, the sponsored display campaign. First off, it's sponsored display. You're going to choose that campaign type. Feel free to use whatever naming nomenclature and budget that you want. We like to optimize for conversions. Reach, it will measure it on impressions. Page visits, conversions, measures it on clicks. We want to do on clicks here. We choose the product that we want to advertise here, and then here's a key component. You actually want to choose contextual targeting and individual products, and we're going to actually enter the ASIN of the product that we want to target. So for the X8, what we would say is, well, we want the Elite to show up. We would grab the ASIN of the Elite, and we would put that ASIN in here and say, target the Elite with our Light. So we're going to say, put our Light, put our Light on the Elite listing.
So you can get that. It's that simple. Okay.
Exactly. Wow. That simple. You can add headlines, test headlines. We've had mixed results with this, upgrade your VAC, something like that. Amazon will show you how they work. You can test different creatives, headlines, logos, and images, and then launch your campaign. But that will essentially put your product down at the bottom. That's fantastic. We were talking a little bit about, this is a great defensive campaign to run. It really helps protect your listing from competitors stealing your sales, and also too helps cross-sell if the customer isn't quite on the exact right product for them.
That's great. Well, thanks, Josh. Those are 3 great tips. I really appreciate you coming on. And if anybody's interested, Josh is pretty active in our Commerce Catalyst community. So feel free to hit him up, Joshua Raw. He's always willing to help. That's one of the things I love about him. Thanks, man.
Yeah, happy to help, Matt. Feel free to hit me up on Commerce Catalyst, or find me on LinkedIn, Joshua Raw. You can always email me, Josh at goeSpark, eSpark being our business name.com.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'll have your info on the links too.